All right, so I got the camera fixed. All right, so this is part 2. Okay, and this is the book Nature Has No Color Line, page 13. All right, so it's talking about Ishmael. Says the Arabs, who are ethnically related to the Jews and are largely Negroid, had their version of Ham legend, which they applied to the blacks Sudan. Right, so Esau started the Hamitic false doctrines, man. All right. And right here it says, and just here the observation, just regard the lighter Negroid Arabs, talking about Ishmaelites, and what they said of the unmixed blacks, since it will explain the case of Negroid Jews towards the latter also. All right. It is not necessary for people to be unmixed white to have prejudice for a black skin. Sometimes those with only eighth of white ancestry had this prejudice too. All right. So, the reason I read this, because this were two things, man. All right. This how all this racism began in the so-called Middle East, Asia Minor, man, because Esau threw his last, man, with that sons of Ham, saying that anybody with dark skin are Hamites. All right, which is just not true, man. All right, and also it basically dehumanized the dark skinned Israelites. All right, particularly the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, man. All right. So this was all this nonsense started, man. All right. Okay. It started with the Khazars, the Amalekites, those Edomites, man, red people. All right. Those Jewish people. Okay. That's where it came from, man. It started with them. All right. Because you have to remember, it said Job chapter 9:24, the hands are given to earth for the wicked, man. So everybody want to be like who? Esau, the so-called European, so-called white man. All right. Just to want to show you that the original Ishmaelites were dark skinned, and majority of people in the Middle East are dark skinned, man. All right. Yeah. All right. And they're dark brown people. It's not like what they show you in the media, man, and show you how they got light. They messing with who? Edomite concubines, man. All right, and you can see right here. This is what it says right here. To the Quran, Moses drew his hand in the bosom. All right, and right here you see right here this man right here. He has what on the face? You see what? You see dark pigmentation in his face. Then you see what? The light brown. All right. Then with that, you see lighter brown of that. Then you go beyond that, you see what? He don't got no flesh on his skin, man. All right. It's basically a color chart, man. All right. So just show you how that dark skin, man. Dark skin gave basically birth the different shades of light brown, man. All right. All right, so right here is the reason I read that too. So it's on page. This is something interesting. Page 57, when the Ishmaelite leaders came over here, so-called Arab League came to American visit. It says right here on page 57, Nature Has No Color. It said many American Negroes. All right, talking about the tribe of Judah. Many American Negroes are indistinguishable from Arabs, Ishmaelites. All right, it says right here the New York Times, February 2. All right. What it says, February 2. All right. February 2. This be 1945. I don't know why he put 1045 there. But anyway. All right. So it's 1945. Reports of meeting between President Roosevelt and King Abdel Saud. It was a matter of considerable astonishment of the king's servant to discover American Negro cooks. All right, these are Judite cooks and mess boys, and it It was a matter considered of astonishment of the king's servants to discover American Negro cooks and mess boy, and it was more difficult to persuade them that these were not also Arabs. The matter was never entirely cleared up. So King Abi Said was pissed off because he thought that the Judites, so-called Negroes, were Arabs, Ishmaelites. And it was never cleared up. He still pissed off and left. He thought that his people was the mess boys, the servants in that house. It's proving that the people in the Middle East are not all of them not light skinned, man. All right, they don't look. All of them do not look like Edomites. All of them do not look like light skinned Mexicans. Okay, so that's impossible. All right, like I said, they come in various shades of color. Some of them they come in various shades of color, man. Depend on what happened to their family background in the past, man. All right. Some are naturally light skinned. Some are got light skin, do mixing with Esau. All right, they Edomite concubines. All right, but all they got different looks, man. And you know, the beginning, they forefathers were dark skinned people. All right, so it's impossible for Shem to it's possible Sham to just be like a light brown color, man. Sham always been darkest to the lightest brown, man, in the beginning, man. Okay. You go right here, Sex and Race, Volume 1, J. Rogers book. Alright. You can see right here. And this the guy right here, Abin Sayul, king of Najd and Hazaz Arabia. This the guy that was pissed off at President Roosevelt, man. All right. And then right here it said battering Arabian ladies. All right, there you go, man. Looking like what? So-called Negro women in America. All right, that's why King Albin Saud was pissed off, man, because he thought his people was enslaved, man, in the White House. All right, and they go right here, Ishmaelite, well, what? Modern Egyptian of white stock. All right, so most like he's Ishmaelite. And his forefathers mixed heavily what with Edomite women. Okay. All right. So you know, there you go, man. All right. So that's impossible, man. All right. So I'm gonna play with this. All right. So people in the Middle East are not all light-skinned Mexican looking, man. You do have people over there that are light-skinned Mexican looking, but all of them not, man. Now if I play with this Arab, say, not Arab, but Iranian. All right. This Elamite said. All right. I gotta find his original channel. All right. I'll find it, y'all willing, because he got a lot of interesting things to say. All right.
Black people claim that I've seen when black people claim that the ancient Hebrews and Jews were black people and Jesus was not a white man. Many white people come across and say, okay, Jesus was not a white man, but he wasn't a black person either. Because he was from the Middle East, and therefore, according to them, he must have looked like Arabs. But this is a fallacy. Just because the modern population of a region looks like X doesn't mean that the ancient inhabitants of that region looked also like X. For example, look at Australia. Are white Australians descended from the ancient Aborigines? Or are white Mexicans descended from the ancient Mayans? Of course not. The Middle East is the most melting pot region of the world. there are black, white, brown, Indian-looking and Mongoloid-looking people in this region, all of whom claim to be native and indigenous to this region. But, and for example, in Arabs, there are black, white, and mixed, the so-called brown Arabs, all of whom claim to be the real Arabs. But which of them is the real Arab? The black one, the white one, or the brown one? The same goes for Iran. There are many different ethnic groups in Iran. There are Mongoloid-looking Turkmens, there are Indian-looking Baluch, there are native blacks, there are white-looking Turks, there are mixed-looking Kurds and Lurs. Which of them is the true Iranian? And unlike what the believers of the Indo-European hoax claim, the white-looking people in this region are not descended from the ancient mythical Indo-Europeans. These people are mostly Turks or descended from Turks. For example, here in Iran, up to 40% of people are Turks, and I don't know how many of them are descended from Turks, meaning are related to Turks. And the most white-looking people of Iran are mostly Turks, but there are also Russian, Georgian, and Armenian people too living in this region. And we all know that Turks are not an indigenous people to this region. They came from southern Russia and the Central Asia in recent centuries, and they cannot be an indigenous people to this region. The ancient inhabitants of the ancient peoples of the Middle East were all different types of black people, different groups of black people. Assyrians were a black people, Persians were a black people, Elamites were a black people, and Arabs, yes, were a black people. That's why you see Assyrians have depicted themselves with curly hair, curly beard, and dreadlocks.
Black, what he talking about? Mean dark brown people. Okay, nobody color of a tar. All right.
That's why you see Persians have depicted themselves with curly hair and curly beard, and even there are many wall paintings found in Susa in which Persians have depicted themselves with black skin.
All right, so he lives over there. All right, so I believe this guy's from Iran. All right, so he know what the hell he talking about. All right.
Painted themselves with black skin. So therefore, Persians were black people, not a so-called Indo-European. And I believe that Persians, Assyrians, Arabs, and all of the ancient inhabitants of the Middle East were an Ethiopian type of people, the so-called Semitics, an Ethiopian type of people. People like the Somalis, like Ethiopians, like
You talking about their
Eritreans,
phenotypes.
like Djiboutis, like dark-skinned Yemenis. You know, they weren't white people. Why? Because the temperature here in this city goes up to 50 degrees Celsius in summers with a high intensity and a UV index of 12. White people cannot endure this heat. They cannot tolerate this heat. So they cannot be indigenous to this region. Because we semi-white looking people cannot stand this heat. We cannot go outside too much in summers. But how can white people be indigenous to this region? And I don't say this because I'm racist. As you can see, I'm not a black person, and I look like look mostly like whites than blacks. I just want to tell the truth that the ancient inhabitants of these regions, from Babylonians, Assyrians, Elamite, Persians, Jews, were all black. No way
All right, so there you go, man. All right, Aramean brother over there telling you what the people in the Middle East look like, man. As I broke down why some of them are light skinned. All right. Like I said, all the people over there, dark skin with various features. Some got straight hair, some got curly hair, some got nappy hair, some got fat nose, some got thin nose, some got flat nose, some got sharp noses, pointy noses, some got juicy lips, some got thin lips, some got high cheekbones, some got broad cheekbones. All right, but those people in the land, all of them wasn't looking like light skinned Mexicans, man. All right. That's impossible, man. That's incorrect, man. All right, and not all Issacharites, Mexicans are light skinned either, man. They range just like the tribe of Judah, man, from the darkest dark to the lightest light. Okay, so this is it, and I hope y'all been edified. All right, and again, this ain't no personal attack. It's just to put the correct information out there. So the mic been dropped. Shalom.